All right, well, this is Joe, and hey, look what I have in my garage, would you? What do you guys think about that? Yes, it's true. I have a motor scooter. I just picked up this Honda uh, PCX 150 last week, and I am now the proud owner of a brand new high quality motor scooter. Hey, let's go for a ride, shall we? Hey there. Yeah, so you're probably wondering, what's the deal with the motor scooter? Well, I have a kind of a history with motor scooters a little bit. Uh, Let me explain it to you. Well, my history with motorcycles is kind of like some people's histories with musical instruments. Mine's very similar to my musical instrument history in that I never learned to play a musical instrument when I was a kid, and I never learned to ride a motorcycle as a kid. All I knew was a bicycle. And it wasn't until much, much later in my adult years, like in the late 1990s, I made a business trip over to Europe, and in the course of that trip, I stopped off for a few days in Rome, and I fell in love with these the idea of motor scooters just because of the way the Italians tend to integrate motor scooters into their lifestyle. You know, they're dressed up to the nines in business clothes, and they ride them all around Rome and different cities to go to work. And parking is essential to have a motor scooter if you're going to survive in that kind of a city, because there's no room for cars. So they can line up 100 motor scooters in one city block up on the sidewalk. So it's kind of a very efficient form of transportation in urban round getting about. Of course, the old motor scooters were two-stroke, so they burned oil and they polluted quite a bit. So when I got back in the early aughts, I don't know what it was, 2002. No, actually, it was about the year 2000, maybe. I'm guessing. Uh, I found somebody locally that was selling a little 49cc Italian Italjet two-stroke motor scooter. And of course, I'm 200 pounds or so, and so it was fairly slow. But the only saving benefit to that particular bike was it had a tuned exhaust from the factory. So those two-stroke bikes need a little bit more power like that with a tuned exhaust. Anyways, I had a blast with that motor scooter. That was essentially how I learned to ride a motorcycle. I actually was riding the motor scooter around without a motorcycle license, because in my town you don't need a motorcycle license endorsement on your driver's license for anything under 50 cc's. But I went and took the motorcycle rider safety course, which was a great thing to do. And then I kind of wanted to get a bigger bike, so I got a Suzuki sport bike, an SV650. And I enjoyed the motor scooter, but of course it was a carbureted bike. It had a choke, and the choke didn't always work, and it didn't always start reliably, especially in the cold weather. And so I kind of thought, well, it's not as reliable as I wanted it to be. So I ended up selling it and getting this at Suzuki. And I had the Suzuki for a few years, really enjoyed it. But then I got this bug to get a trike, and so I found an old Suzuki Intruder 800 that was a Lehman trike, Lehman. It was a kit company out of somewhere in the northern tier of states, South Dakota, I think, somewhere like that. But they do trike conversions. I had that trike for 8 or 9 years. It was in my garage, and I would ride it. But recently, I've gotten the scooter bug, and so I got rid of the trike, and I got this brand new Honda scooter. Now, the thing about scooters is, inexpensive scooters, the Chinese-made scooters, vary in quality depending on the brand or whatnot, and some of them are not good at all. Some of them will last you about a year, and then it's bad news. Some of the others are not so bad. The problem that I have in my area here is, like a lot of smaller cities, there's no real good service center for scooters. There used to be a place called Blue Smoke Garage, and they're no longer in business. So unless you want to work on it yourself, and the problem there is you may not always be able to get parts, because some of these scooter companies only sell parts to authorized servicers. So that led me to the idea that I'm going to have to get a name brand scooter, and around this part of the country that either means Honda, Yamaha, or Vespa. And I like this PCX 150 was a really good, I thought it was a good size engine, a 4-stroke fuel injected 4-stroke 150. So it doesn't have the problems of a carbureted bike, and it doesn't have the issues of a 2-stroke bike. Although I'll have to do oil changes. I can't just, the old small little bike I had, there was an oil reservoir underneath the seat, and as long as you had oil in it, it would automatically mix it with the gas. So you never had to do oil changes. You had to just check that reservoir once every week or two. But I will be doing, of course, oil changes on this, and they're not hard at all. I've done them on my other bikes. But as far as reliability, being a Honda, I hope it's going to be quite a bit more reliable. And being a 150, I weigh a little bit above 200 pounds now, and so it scoots me around quite nicely on the surface streets. Of course, I won't be taking it on the freeway, but I hope to have some fun urban driving in this little scooter. So, well, I rode around town a little bit, went downtown, went to UNM area, the Nob Hill area. Had to go get coffee beans, and where we buy our beans currently at, they're out of the beans we like. So I went down to another favorite coffee shop of mine is Winnings, down by the university. I got some beans. And now I've driven down into the valley, the Rio Grande Valley of Albuquerque, and I'm at the Flying Star on Rio Grande Boulevard, just north of Griegos. So this is a nice old part of the city that's along the river, and this area of town used to be 100 years ago. These were all farms for locally grown produce and stuff, but now there are some farms, but they're mostly estates for the 1%ers or maybe the 2%ers. I haven't quite figured it out, but anyways, so they got a nice little motorcycle parking area here for us. And bicycles are quite popular here in the North Valley. People like to bicycle in the neighborhoods down to their favorite coffee shop. And another highlight of this part of town is Bookworks. This is one of the best locally, independently owned bookstores in Albuquerque, and they got a great selection of books, and they always have authors coming in and doing readings and book signings. And I didn't even know that this place was here, but this is Penny Smith's, a paper store. Potentially an office supply video subject matter. Well, I talked to the lady that works at Penny Smith's paper, and it looks like we might be able to organize a typewriter gathering, a type-in here at this little strip mall that has Penny Smith's paper, Bookworks bookstore, and the Flying Star Cafe at the end of it. So that would be kind of cool, huh? A perfect day starts with a good book. Hey, that was fun. So some of you might ask, what is the appeal of motor scooters? Why don't you just get a regular size motorcycle and be done with it? Well, I've had regular size motorcycles. And one of the things that I noticed early on with motor scootering is that there is a convenience factor, a literally grab and go kind of a convenience factor. So for instance, I'm wearing some shoes that are more like sneaker sandals, sockless, and I would be comfortable wearing Birkenstocks or some kind of leather sandal even when this thing. I know when you go take a motorcycle class, they say you got to have hard boots and safety boots and all that, and that's probably true. But one of the appeals of the step-through design of motor scooter and automatic, this continuously variable transmission, the CVT transmission, is that you can just get on it with open shoes, and you don't have to worry about the top of your foot needing to be protected because of the shift lever. On a regular motorcycle, you just hop on it and go. The other thing is this motor scooter is pretty darn narrow, right? Relatively narrow, side to side, from mirror to mirror. And the thing about it is, I have 3 cars out in the driveway and a small little garage that's really only just a workshop and dark room and laundry and room for a small bike like this. So Getting, like for instance, my older trike out of here involved moving two cars. And so there was no spontaneity. And what I really loved about my old scooter was the spontaneity that I enjoyed. It was just getting on it at a moment's notice and going. And it's even better with this thing because the fuel injected engine, it just starts so well. I have more power. I have all this room underneath the seat. And I'll take you guys on a little tour of this bike at a later date, but the real appeal of motor scootering is being able to just get on it at a moment's notice, the convenience of it, just twist and go off and run some errands. It's really about living kind of an urban lifestyle. We live in the suburbs here, but it's really very urban around us, a lot of shopping and stuff right close by. There's a convenience factor if you have to run errands. And I'm getting 120, 125 miles per gallon on this thing. Uh, and I'm keeping up with traffic with my 200 plus pound weight. And there's other things about scootering also that's fun, like driving these slow speed roads down in scenic parts of the community, like down by the Rio Grande. Some really nice little roads that are great for scootering, and it's a lot of fun. You don't have quite the same enjoyment on a motorcycle. I think a full size motorcycle, you really want to get out on the open road and twist and turn and hit the windy roads. But scootering is a different thing, and so I hope to take you guys along with me. Well, so that was just an introductory video of what I hope to be a series of maybe motor scooter videos. Maybe I'll just ride around town and take you places with me and see what happens. But yeah, the little scooter. Oh yeah, I do have a helmet, and yeah, I should have been wearing it, but it was a beautiful day, and actually riding about 40 to 45 miles an hour with my regular glasses on, my eyes do start watering because of the wind. So I'll probably be wearing the helmet not only for safety, but just to keep my eyes from tearing up when I'm speeding along. This little guy gets up and moves. If I was about 20 pounds lighter, this thing I'd probably get it up to 60 or 65 probably, but it'll do over 50 easily with my uh, 200 plus pounds. But anyway, this is Joe Van Cleve, and this is the first of what might be a series of scootering videos. So until next time, you guys have yourselves a great day and stay safe out there.